Got my Lindbergh cleaned up. Just put it all back together. Thought I'd take another video, show what it looks like after it's all been cleaned. It's the CPU, that was the hardest part. The fan and the heatsink there were just filthy. But unfortunately the heatsink had bonded itself to the CPU, so getting it off was very difficult. What I ended up doing was using a hair dryer to try and heat the thermal paste to get it to soften enough to pull the heatsink off the CPU, but what it did is it pulled the heatsink and the CPU right off the board. So the CPU is still stuck to the heatsink. So then I was using isopropyl alcohol, more heat. Eventually the only way I could get it was to use a small screwdriver that I wedged under a corner of the chip, and the other end was using the leverage of the copper heatsink, but it's in a part of the copper heatsink that the CPU comes nowhere near, so I wasn't roughing up the smooth finish of the heatsink, so it didn't hurt connectivity. So that, I noticed that actually loosened it up, so then I went to another corner and it popped off. So I cleaned it all up, took the fan off of the heatsink, cleaned that up. Everything's been cleaned, reinserted, new thermal paste, and hopefully it'll work. I didn't try it before I cleaned it, so whenever I do try it, it's going to be its first shot. So hopefully everything will work out.